Am I the asshole if I stop bailing her out and demand she financially steps up? Am I the asshole for refusing to keep bailing out my wife and pushing her to file for child support? I, 28M, am married to L, 29F. We have 3 kids in the home, my 3 and 1-year-olds and my 10-year-old stepdaughter. We got married after our first child. I love my stepdaughter and treat her as mine, but her bio dad does almost nothing. I've pushed my wife to file for child support. She refuses because she's afraid of 50-50 custody and doesn't want her daughter influenced by him. I think he should still be forced to contribute. From the start I was clear. I wanted a 50-50 partnership. Right now I'm basically carrying us. I take home about $2.8 thousand per month after benefits /401k on a rotating shift schedule and work overtime/side jobs to keep up. My wife works 8 to 5 as a long-term sub, around $21 per hour, and brings home roughly $1.8 thousand. Her fixed bills are about $800. Our rent is $1,600. I warned her in mid-October that we needed to get ahead for November's rent. On October 30th, she said she had $100 for rent and would have more later. Now, at the end of the month, she tells me she only got her normal check, had to pay her bills, and is short again. I smoke weed daily. Meanwhile, right before Thanksgiving, she threw a hotel birthday party for her daughter, paid for everything, and only afterward told me she couldn't cover her share of rent. It's only her share because she died on the hill about this apartment. I doubt her whole $1,000 went to party, but I'm sure her portion did. I'm getting her a cell phone. Mom does parties, I get gifts. This isn't a one-off. For months I've been grinding extra hours and covering the gap while she avoids hard financial decisions, child support, finishing her degree to get a better paying contract, sticking to a budget. I'm at the point where I want to stop covering her shortfall on rent/bills and insist that she file for child support and make a serious plan to increase her income, instead of relying on me to plug every hole. My daughter's father is just a bum. Not dangerous. This isn't just about child support. This is your wife making poor financial decisions. She spent money on a hotel birthday party for her child and is only contributing $100 to the household expenses for the month? WTF. This is a huge issue you need to discuss. Her child's dad paying child support isn't going to solve this if your wife keeps spending her mom on fun and relying on you to pay the household bills. Not the asshole. I smoke weed every day but want my wife to do more. So how much are you spending on weed in a month? How does being high every day affect your relationship with your children? Your wife for not keeping up her end of the bargain and throwing a hotel party instead of coming up with the rent. You for getting high every day instead of interacting with the 2 children you made. Not the asshole. This is one of the most common errors on the legal forums. Child support is a legal obligation owed to the child. How the wife feels about it is irrelevant. The husband can file for joint custody, and unless he is a serial killer, he is entitled to that as well. But he has to pay child support, and your wife is derelict in not demanding it. But realistically, it would not be a slam-dunk decision, as so many years have gone by without him having custody. Does he even ask for visitation? He may not be in a financial or relationship position to even accept joint custody. So tell the wife to sue for current and back child support and get his wages garnished if he refuses. Not the asshole, but what do you mean her bills? You call her your wife, so I assume you are married. At that point there are no her bills and his bills. You've just got bills. And in turn, you jointly should be making financial decisions, like whether or not to have a hotel party. I think you need to sit down calmly in a neutral space with the kids looked after and agree to a financial plan going forward. Not having your finances all in one pot seems to be part of the issue. She spent the money on her daughter without discussing it with you first, and agreeing what money you had left after rent/insurance/bills. Going back to college and getting her degree is a great idea, but where is the money and the time to study coming from? This needs a solid plan agreed by both of you. Child support has nothing to do with custody, even more so, if he doesn't see her much he should pay because you're shouldering most of the cost. She absolutely needs to file for it. But marriages are supposed to be a partnership. Why would she pay 50% if she makes less? You both needs to sit down and make a budget. How do you expect her to pay for a degree if you're already struggling, especially as it doesn't guarantee a better job? Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for a $1,000 coat? I've been casually seeing a woman for the past couple of months. A few weeks ago, she came over to my place, took off her very expensive down coat with real fur, and left it on my couch while we hung out. It stayed there for hours. I have a cat. My cat has never peed outside the litter box, but her coat must have smelled like her dog. Our pets met once and didn't get along. While the coat was sitting on the couch, my cat peed on it. I apologized that night and told her she should treat it with a bioenzymatic cleaner since I've owned pets my whole life and know that's what works. She told me not to worry and took the coat home. Fast forward a couple weeks. She messaged me saying the coat is ruined and asked something like, "How do we handle this? Should I buy a replacement and bill you?" That was the first time she brought up money. I told her I'm sorry it happened, but I can't replace a $1,000 coat. I said I could help treat it properly if she wanted to drop it off. After that, she started saying things like cat pee is forever. If my pet ruined something of yours, I'd make it right. Remember I paid for your rug, and you should hang your guests' coats. I was taken a bit aback, to be honest. For context about the rug, she spilled red wine on it once because she jumped during a scary movie and kicked the tray table, spilling red wine all over my rug and couch. I didn't react negatively at all. I told her not to worry about it. She insisted on sending me $50 for it, even though I didn't ask her to. In fact, insisted she didn't send me money and got a bit upset when she did. But that situation felt totally different. What bothers me is that she left a nearly $1,000 coat on the couch in a home with a pet, and now wants me to pay for it. I didn't do anything to her coat, didn't mishandle it, and had no control over where she put it. Also, I'm struggling financially. Rent is due, bills are overdue, and I'm taking care of my kids. There is no scenario where I can afford a $1,000 replacement coat, especially for something I didn't directly cause. I told her again that I'm sorry it happened, and I can help treat it if she wants, but I can't replace it. She's upset and says I'm responsible because it's my pet. Edit 1. I don't think she's coming after me because she can't afford it. She works as a nurse and makes close to $120K a year, lives with family, and pays very little in rent. She's just really bad with money. I've actually been trying to help her out as a friend, helping her consolidate her debt to save her money and setting up a payment plan with the IRS, because they were threatening to garnish her wages when she wasn't paying her taxes. Edit 2. I live in a small apartment, but I do have an area by the entryway where the household coats and hoodies go. I also mentioned during one of her previous visits that laying things on the couch might not be the best idea because of cat fur. I even tried to vacuum the area and she said, "Don't worry about it, I have a dog, I'm used to the fur." Edit 3. I'm seeing a couple of comments saying I should have offered to hang up her coat as a host. For what it's worth, this wasn't a formal visit or a dinner party. We're casual with each other. And where I live, big city, that honestly isn't the norm. I don't think I've ever gone to someone's apartment and had them take my coat for me. People usually just put their stuff wherever they want. Maybe the culture here is different. She took it off and put it on the couch herself. Edit 4. Right after she left that night, the very first thing I did was message her asking how much it would cost to take the coat to a cleaner. I also offered different solutions based on my experience as a pet owner and someone who worked in the pet industry for over a decade. I feel like there are a lot of small details that can't fit in one post, and I wish I could post screenshots to show the full conversation. For the people mentioning lawsuits, where I live, I wouldn't be legally liable for replacing the coat anyway. Not that I think she'd actually take it that far, but just clearing that up. Edit 5. A lot of folks are mentioning she left the coat hanging on the back of the couch. That was not the case. She laid her coat down flat across the seat, where I had mentioned to her in the past of there being lots of fur, because it was where my cat specifically would lounge on the couch. Again, she said something along the lines of, "I have a dog, I'm used to fur," seemed nonchalant about her placing her stuff there. Question: did you offer to hang her coat in a closet or give her an option to hang it somewhere? ETA, with this information, I'm going to say not the asshole. OP, I'd offer again in writing to have it professionally cleaned. If she refuses, make sure you document her refusal, just in case she tries to sue you/your insurance. Note that you've offered multiple times to have it cleaned, and she always refuses. Would also document that you'd previously told her where to hang her coat so that it's out of the cat's way. Now that you know your cat likes to revenge pee, make sure you hang guests' outer garments out of reach of the cat. Insist on it even if they don't. Not the asshole. She put an expensive coat down in a spot where an animal had easy access to it. who just throws a $1,000 coat on the back of a couch. Do you know that it's actually worth $1,000? I had a friend who used to wear white to my place consistently. At the time I had big dogs, cats and horses. I made it clear that if she wore stuff like that to my house, SHE was the one responsible for it. I'm kinda opposite of the comments. I would never say that my pets peeing or ruining someone's stuff was their fault. Even if they left it on the floor, I would feel so bad I would still try to replace it, even if that meant slow payments. But maybe it's just how I was raised. ETA. I would also take it as my fault for not getting it up from somewhere my pets could bother it. I will always at least hang things over a chair back. If I had a $1,000 coat, I would make sure I put it somewhere safe or ask my host to do so. She's a grown-up, and grown-ups need to be responsible for their things that might need extra care. Not the asshole. Are you even 100% certain your cat did pee on the, apparently $1,000 value coat? She took the coat away, won't let you try and treat it, won't take it to professional cleaners. It sounds a bit sus to me. Especially when she didn't respect your not wanting her to send you $50 for the wine spill. Is it possible that she was setting a precedent? It's just strange. Also, I'm assuming she's got a vague idea about your financial situation and commitments. To ask someone who needs to pay rent and care for kids to divert that money to pay for a replacement luxury item might be within her rights, but it's lacking in grace and compassion. Kids first, always. ETA, not the asshole. Not the asshole, you're offering to treat it, she's insisting on money. The situation sounds a bit off. I just stopped seeing this woman. Am I the asshole for spending Thanksgiving night with my mom instead of my husband? My dad passed away in August, and this was our first holiday without him. I'm an only child and my mom and I are very close. My husband and I live about an hour away from her. I spent the night with my mom on Wednesday to help her cook. Thursday, my husband drove down with our son and his 2 older kids from a previous relationship. They stayed 3-ish hours and said they were bored and wanted to go home. They were invited to spend the night either with my mom or with my aunt who lives 10 minutes away and has a basement apartment. He declined, took the 2 older kids, and left. So I spent the night with our 3 years old at my mom's house. We are still grieving my dad. Friday, he calls upset that I didn't come home the night before. I told him I was there to support my mom and they could have stayed, but chose not to. I was planning on spending the rest of the weekend here, but he's so upset that I feel like I have no choice but to go home. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You lost me when an adult man was bored. While I'm so sorry about your dad, it's probably a very difficult holiday for you. I'm shocked that your husband is this selfish. Is he this selfish normally? Info. You say, I was planning on spending the rest of the weekend. Did he know the plans? Sounds on the surface very shallow of him to not be supportive of your wish to be there for your mom, but it also sounds like he came up to her place with his other kids, with no real plan to stay. He wouldn't be wrong to decline staying if he didn't prepare himself or his kids to stay, but being a little over the top upset and not understanding of your situation is a litliest hole of him. Not the asshole. Your husband is the asshole for focusing on himself instead of on you and your mother at a painful time. Info. Were you already planning on staying the night before you announced it? Did he know in advance you were planning on staying? Info. Did you discuss your plan to spend the entire weekend at your mom's with your husband in advance? Am I the asshole for getting upset that my parents laughed at my friend's religion? So if I'm just losing it, or what, but this happened at dinner like an hour ago, and it's still bugging the hell out of me. We were eating, me, my mom, stepdad, and sister, and I was talking about planning my birthday thing. One of my friends coming is following a lacto-ovo-vegetarian diet, so we were talking about food stuff. My stepdad goes, "Oh, is she Jewish?" And I said, "No, she's pagan." Keep in mind that I was wrong about her religion. Pagan is a blanket term for a non-Christian religion. My friend follows Hellenic polytheism/Hellenism. And dude, they both just straight up laughed. Like full-on laughing at that. I kinda paused and I said, "Why is that funny?" And immediately they did the whole, "Oh my god, calm down," thing like I'm making a big deal out of nothing. It honestly pissed me off because 1. That's my friend. Why are you laughing at her beliefs? 2. My stepdad is literally pagan? Or claims to be anyway. And my older sister is too. So why it became a joke suddenly. Then I mentioned my friend does tarot readings sometimes, and they did that thing where they look at each other and kinda smirk like they're holding back another laugh. And yeah. I got up, put my food away, said I was done, and went to my room. I told them it hurt my feelings, and it felt disrespectful, and they basically brushed me off like I'm being dramatic again, which is like their favorite line whenever I'm upset about anything lol. I also did text my mother afterwards because I was so angry and felt so upset that my parents had said the things they said, but now I'm sitting here thinking like, am I actually being dramatic? Or was that actually rude of them? I honestly can't tell anymore, because every time I stand up for myself they treat it like I'm making something out of nothing. Edit. I've gotten a few replies saying that paganism is a blanket term, and I wanted to say thanks because I had no clue that was a blanket term. I did text my friend about what specifically they follow, and my friend, any pronouns, said they follow Hellenic polytheism/Hellenism, and they worship the Greek gods. Edit 2. Change some of the wording since I worded some things wrong. Edit 3. Please note that the OP goes by he/they pronouns. Nobody's religion is pagan. Pagan is a blanket term that covers a vast and disparate set of practices and beliefs. Were they laughing at the religion or laughing because they just didn't expect to hear pagan? If your stepfather is pagan, then it would make absolutely no sense that they're laughing at her religion. Not the asshole. As a Christian, I would like respect for my religion and every other one. No one alive will ever know which one is true, but faith is something that shouldn't be laughed at. I'm sorry they made you feel so shitty. I'd be very amused by a pagan who does tarot readings, but I'd keep it to myself. Not the asshole. Nah. I'm not sure why your parents laughed, but I'm also not sure why you're taking this so personally. You are being dramatic the way many teenagers are. Your friend wasn't there, so it wasn't like they were harmed. If your stepdad is pagan too, then it's not like your parents are likely to be discriminatory towards your friend. You're not the asshole, but you do sound like you're being dramatic. Doesn't make you an asshole, but doesn't make you right either.